Hey guys, it is Mike from Baltimore Rides here, wrapping up my Wednesday, October 18th. We are into the wee hours of Thursday morning, and I'm going to start off this wrap-up video with a little bit of a strange story, but you know, it speaks to the craziness of my evening. So I've got a customer, we're up in Hyattsville, Silver Spring area, we're driving down the road, and on the other side of, it wasn't Colesville, it was University Boulevard, there's an accident. Police officer involved in an accident, so the police car's all smashed up, and two civilian cars all smashed up. And there's a couple cops already on the scene. You know, and we obviously noticed it. The passenger and I were both talking about it. We're driving down the road towards this destination, and literally an armada of police officers come flying toward the crime scene, to the point where three of them, and University Boulevard, for those of you that don't know, is a divided highway. So there's that grass curb median thing in the middle. Because they got so frustrated at a traffic light that we were stuck at, they literally came into oncoming traffic and went straight down oncoming traffic's route to get to this accident scene. We counted, him and I both, 19 squad cars raced towards this accident. Now, it didn't look that bad. The cops were, when we drove by the accident itself, the cops were on the side of the road with a civilian. You know, there were no bodies laying on the ground. It wasn't like a bloodbath. So, and there weren't even any ambulances or fire department vehicles on scene yet. So it must have just happened. But 19 police cars flew down the road to get to this. Now, I'm thinking to myself, and him and I both were talking about this, you know, in a normal accident with two civilian vehicles, you're lucky if you can get one or two police officers and a fire truck to show up. I was in an accident several years back, thankfully not my fault. You know, thankfully nobody was really harmed, but it took probably 15, 20 minutes for a police officer to show up and then an ambulance to show up. I mean, it just took forever to get a response. And there was this poor guy stuck in his vehicle because the other guy's vehicle had actually landed on its side. In a ditch, and there was definitely not a 19 squad car response in that accident. And here's where it gets even crazier, guys. That was like 2.5 hours ago. I just drove down University Boulevard on my way home, and not only is the smashed cop car still intact where it was, the road is all blocked off, and there's 3 police officers, and I quote, working the scene, literally scouring that vehicle for what I guess must be evidence. I don't know. Like it's a crime scene. I mean, like one of the guys was, I literally drove by slowly. One of the guys was literally examining the front tire of that police car. Now here's where I'm a little bit perplexed. So if anybody can shed light on this for me, please do. In the crime, okay, how do I want to say this? In every car accident I've ever heard of that did not involve a fatality, because I know fatalities are different. Usually the police officers go, they get everybody's story, they get everybody's information, they write up a report, and then they call a tow truck. If somebody's hurt, they call an ambulance. Fire department comes and does their thing, and that's it, and everybody goes away. As far as I know, it wasn't a fatality, because I don't think it was. I don't know. It might have been. I don't know. But for them to be examining this squad car, the civilian cars were gone. But for them to be examining this squad car this many hours later tells me one of two things. And I'm just speculating here, guys. I don't know anything. Either the officer was at fault and the cause of the accident, and the police forces making the officer on scene do a thorough examination to determine cause, or something really weird is going down. Because that's a ridiculous amount of resources to be applied to a motor vehicle accident that I don't think had any fatalities. It didn't seem like it. I mean, there were no ambulances. I don't know. I hope not. Knock on wood. So that's the start for my crazy recap video. It's just been one of those bizarre nights, guys. I'm not going to lie. The city was quiet. I got down to the city about 4 o'clock-ish. This weird new $3 per rush hour trip incentive looks great on the screen, but it's really not that big a deal, guys. Pool rides only count as one. So if you drop 3 people off on a pool ride, it counts as one ride, so it gets one $3 bonus. And the reality is, around that time of day, that's what you get. I did 2 pool rides that took an hour and 40 minutes between the 2 of them. So I got $6. And then I did 2 more little rides. So I think I got $10 or I got whatever it is, $9 or $12. I'm not sure. So there's no way that you're going to do 15 separate trips in a 2-hour period during rush hour. I mean, I don't know how that's physically possible unless you're the Flash. So there's that. But, it's a nice little incentive. It's them throwing a bone, saying, hey, let's help you out to compensate you for your time. I think that's what the intent is behind it. Overall, there was very little traffic in the city tonight. The city was very, very sleepy, and I think I understand why. It's, Wednesday night, kind of the first really, really cold night of the year. It's down in the 40s. No real big events going on. Nothing, no concerts, no big games, nothing really exciting. And I think that was kind of the leading factor why the city was so sleepy. So I wrapped up at about 2 o'clock. I was actually driving out in the burbs. I was driving out like in Hyattsville, Silver Spring, because I was getting trips out there. But, it's time to head home. I do have to drop the lease off again. I went there this morning. The parts were not in. I said, look, what time are the parts going to be here? They couldn't confirm. And I said, how long is it going to take to do the work? He said 3 hours. I said, well, I'm not going to take a chance that I leave my car here, the parts don't get here till the afternoon, and then I don't have my car for tonight. So let's do this instead. You guys get the parts today, and I'll drop my car off first thing in the morning, and then you guys can do the work Thursday morning. So I'm going to do night drop tonight. The Firestone is only a couple blocks. It's like a half a mile from my house. So I'll just drop it and then walk home. And that way they'll be able to work on it first thing in the morning. And I'll call over and check on them to make sure. But, so again, it's kind of like day 4 and I'm still trying to get this thing fixed. I appreciate Firestone and the Uber warranty because it's obviously not costing me anything. But man, oh man, it's taken its time. So there's that. Just kind of a sleepy week. I'm not really, really worried, guys. I know a part of me, a month or 2 ago would have been like, oh crap, I've only got $270 in and it's Thursday or, Wednesday. But I'm not worried. I'm not worried because Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are my slowest days. I didn't work Monday, it's my day off. And Tuesday and Wednesday were slow days. So it's not the end of the world. This is a business that ramps up and gets busier and busier as the week progresses. So, I don't have a huge amount of incentivized reason to drive like a maniac because my Quest goal this week sucked. This weird rush hour goal, I'm already on the road between 5 and 7, so I'll make a couple extra bucks doing it. But really, time is the big constraint there. There's no way to really work that bonus because you can't. The amount of time you spend in traffic dictates how many rides you're going to get. So that's that. I did get an RSVP next Tuesday. There's another meeting at the Uber office. This one had a very cryptic message about and an upcoming announcement on how we're changing pay something or another. That's it. It was very, very vague and ambiguous. So I have no idea what it means. But I will try and go to that meeting. The last one I missed only because my kid was sick. But I will try and make it to that meeting. And if I do, I will report out. But that's next Tuesday. So, we'll have plenty of time to worry about that between now and then. So really, guys, that's all there is to it. It's, just a quiet Wednesday night in the city. I expect things will pick up probably this weekend and then going forward as people kind of mentally switch into fall mode. But one of the things I was thinking about this evening that actually makes a little bit of sense, given that there wasn't any real incentivized reason to be in DC tonight, there was no big quest goal, there wasn't any real big boost or surge. I might not make the commute all the way down to DC on those nights. If I don't have a bonus that's really driving me, or I shouldn't say driving, encouraging me to work in DC, then I might work closer to home. I might work in Baltimore, or I might even make a trip or two out of BWI, or even just drive to like Silver Spring, Bethesda, those areas, College Park, and work the suburbs, because I wasn't getting a lot of volume in the city. It wasn't like it was crazy fast volume. I only did 18 or 19 trips tonight, which is not bad. 20 trips a night is about average. But the dollars weren't there, guys. That's the thing. There was no boost. There wasn't really ever any surge cloud. So, that's where 19 trips for $140-something becomes non-cost effective. Especially when I drive 40, 50 miles to get to DC each way. I was thinking about that tonight. So that might be something that I consider down the road, is that if I have a Monday through Thursday where I don't have great quest incentives driving me into the city, I might work closer from home those days. It's a possibility. I have to think about that a little bit more. So, that's something to be curious about. Because, really to drive all the way to DC for $140, $150 night with no incentive to reach a quest goal or something that might, juice me with some extra money, it just might not be worth it. I got to rattle that around in my head a little bit. But I did talk to some people tonight, some folks that were sending me messages through my YouTube channel. And, one of the great questions that somebody asked me was, hey, I'm driving this many hours in the city, in Baltimore, but these are the shifts that I'm going to be working. What do you think? And, I troubleshot what I could. I thought the hours that he suggested were kind of tricky. 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. kind of misses both of the peaks. You miss the morning commute. So if you're a morning person, you're getting those morning airport rides, morning commuter rides, morning college rides. You miss that window. Then you've got the dead period, which is, I would say, like 10:30, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. You're going to get rush hour, but God knows rush hour is painful. And then you're missing the real dinner bar scene because you're quitting at 11 p.m. So I talked a little bit with him about maybe suggesting some alternate hours. But also, if those are the hours you're going to work, then be strategic. Think about, where can I gather people? Is it the universities? Do they have classes getting out? Can I kind of lurk around, the universities? Or is it, is there somewhere else I can be where I'm going to gather some foot traffic steadily throughout the day? I don't always have the answers, but I can suggest things to think about. And then I told him, I said, just try it for a few days, see what your results are, establish a pattern, and then, then set a goal from there. I told him 150 is reasonable, given the amount of hours he's going to be driving in Baltimore. But you might have to tailor it around certain parts of the city or around certain different hours. So, and that's what this is all about, guys. It's me experimenting, and I'm advising you guys to do the same. There's no easy answer. It requires some figuring things out, trying things, and then kind of, going with it. And if you try something and it doesn't work, try something else. So, I mean, that's kind of how you do it. You have to find your fishing grounds, and you have to find what schedule or groove works for you. So, that's really all I've got tonight for you guys. A little bit of a sleepy night. I'm not really stressed about it. I think it'll work itself out by Sunday. I'm confident that the money will be where it needs to be at the end of the week. So I'm going to get home and get some rest, and I will see you guys on the road tomorrow. Thank you guys. Everybody have a great night. Bye.